Hello students, in this video I'm going to show you how to plot a frequency polygon by considering the steps. So in the first step, we have to add two extra class intervals, one at the top, another at the bottom. Okay, so this involves that first step, which is the modification of the frequency distribution table. So now we are going to add the two extra class intervals. Now look at this class. This is a class interval from 20 to 24. Okay, so in order to maintain the continuity of the series, the class interval would be 15 to 19. Okay, so 15 to 19, if we look at the size or the difference is 5, which is similar, which is the same in fact, or equal to the class interval from 20 to 24, 25 to 29 till 75 to 79. Okay, so now here we will put frequency as 0. Okay, we will add another one at the bottom. So again, to maintain the continuity, we will put 80 as the lower limit and 84 as the upper limit of this class interval. Likewise, here also frequency will be put as 0. Okay, so by having these two class intervals, the extra class intervals also, it will not affect the total number of students, because why? We have kept both frequencies as 0. Okay, so now let us also determine the midpoints. 15 to 19. Now the midpoint would be 17. How to get this? You add 15 and 19. Whatever be the sum, you divide by 2. All right, so it should be half this. So you will get 17 as the midpoint. Similarly, in this last class interval also, we will have the midpoint as 82. All right, so we are done with the first step, that is the addition of two extra class intervals with 0 frequency. Is that all right? Okay. Now let us move to step 2. That is to determine the length of OX axis. Okay, this will depend on the number of class intervals that are there in the frequency distribution table. So here, how many class intervals do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So altogether there are 14 class intervals. So if we take 1 unit for one interval, we will be getting 14 units. All right. So if we talk, or if we consider in terms of those very small squares that you see in the graph paper, it will be 14 into 10, because why? 1 unit is equal to 10 small squares. So this will be equal to 140 small squares. All right. So the length of OX axis will be 14 units or 140 small squares. Okay. All right. Now next, we will also have to determine the length of OY axis, because why? When we plot any graph, we need both OX as well as OY axis. Okay, so the length of OY axis, okay, should always be equal to 3/4 of OX. Okay, This is being done in order to get a polygon which is proportionate in size. Okay. So what is the length of OX? OX here is 140 small squares. Okay, let us consider. If you consider the number of units or even the small squares, it will be the same. Okay, so let us consider here the small squares, that is 140 small squares. So if you calculate this, you will get 105 small squares. All right. So the length of OX axis will be 105. Sorry, the length of OY axis will be 105 small squares. Okay. All right. Now, after the required length of OY has been found out, okay, or determined, now we also have to decide how much units or what unit are we going to take along OY axis? What will be the value of, each unit along OY axis? So for this, we will have to consider this formula. Okay, so units along OY axis will be equal to length of OY axis, okay, divided by highest frequency. So we have calculated the length of OY axis, which is 105, isn't it? 105 small squares. And what is the highest frequency? Now, if we look here, this is the column for frequency. Okay, so you will find that 18 is the highest frequency. So to get the units along OY, we divide 105, which is the length of OY, by the highest frequency, which is 18. So when you calculate this, you will get somewhere at 5.83. So we take it approximately as equal to 6. Okay. All right. So along OY axis, one frequency will be equal to 6 small squares. All right. So if you consider 6 small squares, that will be counted as one frequency. Is that clear till here? Okay. Let us try to share another screen. Okay. Let us look at the graph paper. Okay. All right. Now, as per the calculation, okay, let us take this point right here. The points, okay. All right, so let us begin from here. All right. So this will be the origin. Okay. All right. So this side, along this side, it will be OX. Okay. Is that all right? So this will be your x-axis. Okay. And this side will be y. Okay. OY axis. All right. Starting from this point. So we will have to count carefully as per the calculation for both OX as well as OY. All right. OX this side and OY this side. Okay. Now, as per the calculation, if you remember, OX will be 140 small squares. Now these small squares, I hope you can see. Okay, you have this small box here, the very small squares. Okay, so altogether, if you consider from this thick line to this thick line, okay, this to this, okay, both sides they are 10 squares. Okay, all right, if I take this side, it will be 10. So these 10 small squares along this line will make one big unit. Okay, so if you consider the small squares, so altogether you will have 140. Okay, so let us see the points. So you will have here 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, then 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, then 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so from here to here, 14. All right. So your x will be here. Okay. So please remember that along OX, we are going to put the class intervals. Okay. All right. So this side will be class intervals or midpoint. Okay. All right. And this side, we are going to have the frequency. Okay. So let us count for the frequency as well. If you remember the calculation, we have calculated the length of OY to be 105. All right. So if 10 is here, okay, starting from this point. So if we are starting from this point, so we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 105 will be till here. Okay. All right. Okay, so your 105 will be till here. Okay, so I will draw this line here. So this will be your OY. Okay, all right. So you have OX, OY. So along this side, you will plot the frequency. Okay, so this side will be the frequency, this side will be the class intervals. So accordingly, you will put, okay, you will put the points, the midpoints, okay, starting from 17. Okay, all right. Then you also have here, next is 22, I guess. Okay, so it will go on till 82, isn't it? 82. Okay, all right. Then along OY also you have to plug. As per the calculation, it has to be 6. Now, see, if you look at this pale line here, this is 5. You just go on top. You will get your 6. Okay. Then 6 plus 6 will be 12, isn't it? So now 1, it is 10. Okay. Then you go another 2, it will be 12. Okay. Then 18. 18, you know, this is 20 because this is 10. Thick line will be 10. Next thick line will be 20. So you come down a little bit. 3, 18. Okay. Six, 3, 18. Okay, so this you have your, in this way you will get your frequency. So you have your frequency of 1. Okay, then you have 2. Okay, then 3, 4. It will go on till 18. Okay, so accordingly you will plot the point. So if you remember the table, okay, 17 is with 0 frequency, isn't it? Okay, I will put here the point. Then 22 is with frequency 1. Okay, so you will put points like this. Then the next 27 is with frequency 3, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so in this way you will put the points. Okay, let us say, for example, this one is here. Okay, all right. Okay, so now what you do is you will join the points. After you've put in the dots, what we will do, we join the points. Okay, all right. So this will be a polygon. Is that all right? So the dots here I have just put, tentatively. All right. This is not so accurate. So for you all to be accurate, please check the table accordingly. So I hope you are clear. I will stop the explanation here. Thank you.